So someone with the name Sam MCV asked, can you please do a video or post on how we should carry on in our everyday life with the understanding of being while doing? How do you go about your day between doing and being? Thanks. Now, it really depends on where you are, because when you are totally identified with your mind, then it could be a good practice to simply take a moment every once in a while and just be aware of what is. Just listen to the sounds. Be aware of your breath, because that will take you out of your mind. And that's to recognize who you are. You are awareness. So you can do that. It's very simple. Just as you are doing something, maybe you are a chef and you're cutting some vegetables with your knife, and instead of thinking about future and past, be totally here. It doesn't matter what you're doing, just be aware of what's actually here. And when you're doing it, what happens is that there is this recognition, or there's a possibility to have the recognition that you're nobody. You cannot be defined because you are pure attention. Before a thought is happening, before a thought is arising, there is already this awareness that is aware of the thought. And then when the thought is there is awareness aware of thought. And then when the thought subsides, there is still awareness that is aware that there is no thought. So there is this, this practice has the potential to give you the recognition that you are awareness no matter what. No matter how many thoughts there are, you're always awareness. You've always been awareness. You've never been a person. You've never had an identity. It was just an illusion. Now, but if that's clear to you already, then what can happen is that thoughts are allowed suddenly. You no longer have to kind of suppress them by becoming aware and to constantly keep your mind still and still. It needs to be still, and I need to hold this. You know, it will also feel like a kind of effort to keep your mind still, which is also identification. It's like ego enlightenment. So once you're aware that you're awareness, and no matter how many thoughts there are, you're still awareness. You cannot be defined by the thoughts. Then you will experientially know that you cannot be touched by thoughts. So you can just allow them to do the chaos. And you will not feel like it's your problem. You don't have to manage your mind. Just be the open space of awareness in which a lot of thoughts are happening, thoughts are complaining. It's allowed to be. You're no longer identified because you know now that you are not trapped in the mind. There is a way to escape by becoming aware of whatever is right now. But when it's totally clear that you are awareness, that you cannot be touched by thoughts, then simply allow thoughts to be there even as you are working. That's just the simple doing that does not feel like there's an effort involved in it. Now, when thoughts are here and you're working, you're doing whatever you're doing during the day, there are thoughts, but they're not a problem. You don't have to manage your mind anymore. So they are simply arising and disappearing, arising and disappearing. It's not anyone's problem because there's nobody here. It's just pure awareness, which is like the sky, but the sky doesn't care about the clouds. It doesn't have to make space for the clouds. It's just sky. So the clouds can appear, disappear. The sky doesn't care, right? So as you are doing, they're still being without effort. Now your mind might say, I'm not there yet. It's so complicated. I have to practice. I have to keep practicing. And maybe you have to, yes. But the understanding that I'm talking about is at the same time, it's already available. Because listening happens by itself, thinking happens by itself, everything happens by itself. If you could just be here and relax and you're stop trying to be a spiritual person, you're just here. It's happening. J. Krishnamurti would say, choiceless awareness. You know, when you're not the chooser anymore, the one that's choosing to do a spiritual practice, the one that's choosing to be aware of a particular object. When you're no longer trying to choose. Simple. Then that's it, basically. There's being, and there's a doing happening in being. Right now. But of course, I always say, if you feel like you have a very neurotic mind and it keeps on thinking and thinking and thinking and it is wandering and you're never really here, you're never aware of what is here right now, then it's, of course, it's okay to practice, to focus on your breath every day for 20 minutes. But it doesn't have to be like, it's not a concentration. It's just an awareness that there is a breathing happening. There's breath. It's not focus on the breath, like concentration with effort. It's just noticing. There's breath. Now, your mind will wander off. That's not a problem. Once you notice it, you come back to the breath. When you're doing things during the day, you're doing things. You know, as you are doing it, you are totally aware of what you're doing right now. You're not lost in the mind as you're doing it on autopilot. You're conscious. You're here, doing it consciously. That's also doing, happening, and being. But the concentration is part of the doing. Now, if you could just let go of the doing, if you could just let go of the concentration, but also not get lost in the mind activity, but allow the mind to do what it wants to do, which is thinking. And there's just life happening without someone who's living it. That's why I'm saying you're not someone that's living life, it's life living you. And I hope that, you know, there are these two possibilities. Either you're really focusing on what you're doing right now. For example, right now you're watching this video, be attentive and really notice what is being said right here, right now. Don't get lost in thoughts. Doesn't matter what your mind is saying. It's not important what your mind is saying. What's important is, are you aware that there is something underneath this chattering mind, which is always here, which is always aware? That's all that's important. The second thing you could do is just to let go, which is it's taking away all the effort, but it's also taking away the sense of control. And I feel a lot of spiritual people are trying to control. You know, they're trying to have the way in their grasp. I want to know the way exactly, but actually it's just letting go of that very desire to control things and allow things to happen freely. For example, right now as I'm talking, it's just like words appearing. There's no script. I'm just recording and talking. But it's doing. But recording a video is a doing. You know, but there's still being. And you're also doing because you're listening. But it doesn't feel like effort. Except you're trying to get something out of it, some kind of information that you can write down and feel like you have accomplished something and you are further ahead in your way to become enlightened. That's when you're on the wrong way. Alright, so that was the video for today. And if you like this video, please give it a like, write a comment, subscribe, and have a great day.